So welcome everyone, and we're right now on chapter 16, which is a pivotal chapter that will, of course, every chapter that we read, has an effect on or shapes the narrative and the history of our people. But we're introduced to one of the most well-loved, beloved, and a colorful character in our history in this chapter. Chapter 16, just a quick recap on chapter 15. If you remember, God instructed through Shmuel, God instructed Shaul to go and wipe out all the Amalekites. Shaul, although he wipes out most of them, has pity on. He actually takes the best of their stock and their best. He saves some of the stuff, and in other words, for their own good. And he also saves Agag. He saves the king. He does not kill Agag. To which, of course, Shaul rebuts him and says, because you have not followed God's command exactly to the detail, God right now has cut you off from your kingship will no longer, your royalty will no longer go through you. Your hair will not be from your blood. And this is where we're picking off. That is the theme of where we're picking up chapter 16. Vayomer Adonai el Shmuel, and God spoke to Shmuel. Ad matai ata mit abel el Shaul. How long will you grieve over Shaul? We learned something very, very valuable here of the connection. Do you remember from the first time that we saw those two interact, Shmuel and Shaul interact? Shmuel had this liking to him, high potential, and I always say it's almost like what he felt with Eli. He was mirroring the same way Eli was treating him with such great potential. And once he saw that this was not, Shmuel was literally inside, was hurting, and God asks him, how long will you mourn or grieve over Shaul? Vani me'astiv mimloch al Israel, for I have rejected, I have had enough. I've blocked him out from continuing, from his blood continuing to reign over Israel. Malek karnecha shemen. Now go fill your horn with oil. And of course, you have in the olden days, horn was used as a carrying vessel. I have here something like this. I was thinking about it. Something like this. Although this was made kind of, I think, to blow, but these used to, you see it even has a little thing. They used to pour it inside, keep the closed end. They used to, of course, clean it out, and this used to be a vessel that they used to carry things in it. He tells them, go fill up your horn with oil. Which oil is it? Some say this is a particular. This is not canola or olive oil or something he went to IGA or Israeli Grocery Association and bought himself some oil. This was a specific oil that was used as well in the Beit HaMikdash, anointing oil. It was a special formula. This was a particular formula, and this is in the olden days. The idea of using oil to anoint was a royal or a religious event, a very, very important event. So he says, go fill your horn, fill with oil, velech, and you will go, eshlachacha el Yishai beit halachmi. I will send you to Jesse, who lives in Bethlehem. Hiraiti bevanav limelech. For amongst his sons, I have seen someone who is worthy to be a king.
Oh, David.
Vayomer Shmuel, Eichelech. And Shmuel retorts and says, how can I go? Veshama Shaul v'haragani. Should Shaul hear that I'm going and picking out a new king, certainly his anger it's almost treasonous, and he will kill me. Vayomer Adonai, God told him, Eglat bakar tikach be'adecha. You will take a heifer with you. Vamarta Lizboach ladonai bati. And when you enter Beit Lechem, your pretense will be that you have come there to sacrifice to the Lord. So in other words, we've seen this a couple of times where Shaul asks Shmuel, if you remember, he goes as well up and he asks Shaul to come with him. There are a couple of these ideas that the prophet was also somebody who used to go around, and this was one of the ways, one of the mechanisms in which there was unity, or at least religious unity in the land, because the prophet would go around and remind everybody and make sacrifices a religious event for them. Otherwise, perhaps they never would have seen a religious event unless they would have come to the Kohen or searched out one of the Nevi'im. So he's telling him, go, and you will say you're coming here for a religious purpose. Lizboach ladonai bati, I've come to sacrifice to the Lord. V'karatali shai bazavach, and at this gathering, you will call out, and you will meet up with Ishai, and you will tell him, V'anochi odiacha et asher ta'aseh. There, right when you meet him, I will give you further instructions. So in other words, he just tells him, just go, create this sacrifice, go and meet with Ishai, and when you meet with him, I will give you further instruction. Umashachta li et asher omar elecha, and there you will anoint for me who I will choose, who I will tell you I have chosen. So in other words, Shmuel has no idea who is the chosen one. He just said, just go out, go make a sacrifice, gather everybody, pick out Ishai, and once you meet with Ishai, you make a meeting with him, I will give you further instructions. Vayas Shmuel et asher diber Adonai. Here we see a juxtaposition in terms of last parak, what happened. We see Shmuel doesn't do exactly as God has instructed. Shmuel does exactly as God instructs. Vayavo Beit Lechem, and he arrives in Beit Lechem. Vayicherdu ziknei ha'ir likrato, and the elders of the city trembled in the sight of him, and they went out to greet him. Vayomer shalom boecha, and they asked him, is your trip here in peace? Is everything okay? Are you coming here for a good reason? Vayomer, and Shmuel responds, Shalom, absolutely peaceful. Everything is great. And we have, interesting here, we have Shalom as well, right? This is what we have, Shalom, hi. But the idea of Shalom is deeper than just hi or goodbye. It's a blessing. In other words, when you see someone, especially someone he had, of course, power with the connection to God, the idea of he was bringing peace, he was bringing goodness. He was not there to give them bad news or anything of that nature. Tells them, no, peace. I've come in peace. Lizboach ladonai bati, I've come to sacrifice to the Lord with you. Hit kadeshu, go and purify yourselves. Uvatem iti bazavach, and you shall come, you will join me in this sacrificial feast. Vai kadesh et Ishai vet banav, vaikra lahem azavach. And he also instructed Jesse along with his sons to go and get purified, get themselves ready for the sacrificial feast. Vayhi bevoam, and when they arrived, Vayar et Eliav, and there he saw Eliav. Vayomer ach neged Adonai meshicho, surely God has anointed this one. So Eliav is one of Jesse's sons, as you will surely learn. And right away he sees him. And what do you think? I'm from past experiences with Shaul. Do you remember what attracted Shmuel to Shaul? What made Shaul stand out from amongst the crowd? Do you remember how he was described?
He was very tall.
Oh,
He was a head taller than everyone else. Remember, there was presence to him. So obviously, when they all gathered there, Jesse's children, Eliav stands out. He has presence, and right away, Shmuel assumes the one that has presence, he's the one that's going to be He's the one who God will choose. What does it say? Let's see if we're correct. Vayomer Adonai el Shmuel. God speaks and envisions to Shmuel. Al tabet el mar'ehu. Do not pay attention to his appearance. Ve'el govaha komato ki me'astiv. Nor on his stature, his height, his appearance, his presence. Ki me'astihu. For I have rejected him. He's not the one. Ki lo asher yireh ha'adam. For not as the man sees, ki hadam yireh la'inaim. So God tells him, I don't see what you see. I don't see what through my eyes. A man is blinded by sight. V'Adonai yireh la'levav. God is able to see into one's heart. So in other words, don't be so judgmental just because of the appearance. And then God tells them an homily, of course, an homily. If humans see what they see with their eyes, and we put extra characteristics to what that means. God says, I'm not fallible to human perception. I see much deeper. I'm going to see what is in that person's lev. Heart, by the way, what does it mean? Anybody idea? What is when we say b'chol levavecha, with all your heart? What the simple explanation which we are tainted by is love, right? When we see the heart, we say that's love. So with our heart is with our love. But that's not really what lev really means. Lev is one's potential and also where one's intentions are. In other words, pure what is inside, the capabilities of that person and the intentions of that person. So now if you read the Shema again, it's what is in the person's intent and capabilities of filling one's connection with God. That's the prayer of God, of Shema. It's not just with love is more of a, when we put the heart, is more of a very newer concept. This is not the ancient. The heart dictated what your yes feelings, but what your potential and what's inside of you. What is your makeup? So he says, I can see the characteristics of the person, that which fills his heart. Okay. Vaikra Ishai el Avinadav. So then Ishai calls his next son Avinadav. Vaya avirehu lifnei Shmuel, and he passes him before Shmuel. Vayomer gambazelo vachar Adonai, and Shmuel tells Ishai, sorry, this is not also, he's also not the one that is chosen by God. What is missing between here, right, lazavach, and then suddenly? Did anybody pick up on something being missed?
Samach.
There is no mention that Shmuel tells him, listen, I will need to see your sons. There is some kind of conversation that goes on between Shmuel and Ishai, because suddenly he's bringing him in his next son. What does Ishai know what to do? Or Shmuel is just telling me, show me your next son. But he's telling him this is not the one that is chosen. So there's obviously some context in between that is missing, an interaction, which is maybe for us as curiosity. What does he say? Listen, God, believe it or not, I'm telling you a secret here. God is no longer, after Shaul's reign, God has rejected him, and I am coming here in a secret mission. Something maybe of that nature, but really, in the end of the days, when it's not, it's not important to the entire narrative. It's just they just move on to they skip that which is we can figure out. Okay, so it's not in there. It's not written that what he told him, he set him apart, is not mentioned whatsoever. So he tells him Avinadav also has not been chosen. Vayaver Ishai Shama. Next, Jesse presents Shama. What does Shmuel say? Vayomer gambazeh lo vachar Adonai. With this one as well, God has not chosen this one. And Vayaver Ishai shiv'at banav lifnei Shmuel. Jesse presented all 7 of his sons before Shmuel. Vayomer Shmuel Ishai, and Shmuel tells Ishai, Lo vachar Adonai ba'ele. God has not chosen any of these. Vayomer Shmuel Ishai. Shmuel asks Ishai, Hatamona hane'arim? Are these all your offspring, the children that you have?
That he never.
Vayomer, and Jesse says, Od sha'ar hakatan. Veine ro'evatzon. No. He said, no, there is, I still actually have a young kid, but he's tending to the flock. Vayomer Shmuel Ishai, shilcha vekachehu. Shmuel instructs Ishai to please bring him to him. Ki lo nasov ad bo'ofo, for we will not conclude, or we will not finish and sit down to eat. So this was the festive part in terms of the ritual. We will not finish this and turn away from this procedure ad bo'ofo, until he comes here and we find out what is this child's fate. Vaishlach vayvihu, and Jesse sends out for him and he brings him. Vehu admoni, and he is reddish. He's ruddy-cheeked, bright-eyed. Im yafe enaim vetov ro'i. He had beautiful eyes and was handsome. Vayomer Adonai kum meshachehu kizehu, and God instructs Shmuel and tells him, rise up and anoint him, for this is the one that I have chosen. Vekach Shmuel et keren hashemen. Shmuel proceeds to take that horn which had the oil in it, Vaimshach oto bekerev echav, and there he anoints him in the presence, in surrounded within this surround of all his brothers. Vatitzlach ruach Adonai el David, and suddenly the spirit of the Lord grips David. Mayom hahu v'mala, from that day on. Vayakam Shmuel vayelech haramata. Shmuel concludes his mission, and once again he returns back home to Ramah. Beruach Adonai Sara me'im Shaul. While at the same time that the spirit of the Lord lands and is absorbed by David, the spirit of the Lord departs from Shaul. Uv atatu ruach ra'a me'et Adonai, and rather than what fills him is, or bothers him, is an evil spirit, a bad spirit, which God sends forward to him. So this is it's a real turn in the page. We see like literally light and darkness within one pasuk. How God literally had enough, finishes with him, leaves one, and now not only does he leave one, but now bad spirit overtakes Shaul.
Why? I don't understand that.
In other words, if you want to say, he's no longer supported by God. God no longer supports Shaul. The idea again of the kings, as I mentioned beforehand, was the connection between the king and a prophet. And a king, the prophet was there as the spiritual guide, but so long as the king showed trustworthiness and loyalty to God, God helped that person as well, was literally infusing that person with success. And here we see, because Shaul did not follow that which God rejected him, and God not only rejected him, but now is not kind of helping him, so to speak. Now Shaul's just a regular guy who happens to be a king. Maybe that's the way you want to look at it. He's no longer infused. He doesn't have that aura or godliness about him, or God connection, I should say. He's not godliness. We don't have any, human beings are not gods, but he doesn't have that spirit of God that guides him. But even more so, he's infused with some kind of evil spirit. He's infused with darkness. Okay. Avdei Shaul alav, and those closest to Shaul notice this change, and they ask him, Hinena ruach Elohim ra'a mevaitecha. It seems that your demeanor has changed. You have an evil spirit that has come over you. Vayomer na Adonenu avadecha lefanecha. Let our Lord give order. Vakshu ish yodea menagen bakinor. Let us ask for someone who's a musician, who plays kinor is a lyre, but or a violin, some kind of string instrument. Vehaya biot alecha ruach Elohim ra'ah. When this evil spirit grabs you, venigen be'ado v'tov lach, let the music soothe you. So
Can I
now,
ask a question?
yes, Esther.
I'm a little confused.
Okay.
One of the lines just before this was the youngest son was Jesse.
No,
Right?
no. Jesse is the father. The youngest son is David.
Oh, okay, that's where I got mixed up. Okay, then the next thing I wanted to know, when the evil spirit comes to Saul, is that because he's resenting what's just happened?
So you can ascribe any reason for it. It's the simple reason is God has rejected Shaul. Now that there is a heir, in other words, God has chosen, he kind of removes his aura from the old regime, Shaul, and plants it on David.
Right.
But even more so, we see the anger of God against Shaul, not following his word, that he not only leaves Shaul, but he also puts an evil spirit in him, some kind of unstable personality trait. Some have you see commentaries say, he started developing dementia or started developing some kind of the idea that people are out to get him. He was schizophrenic. There's many different more modern psychological sicknesses that have been attributed, but we know it was called a ruach ra'ah, a bad spirit, an evil spirit, something that was troubling some.
But isn't it because he lost the wars? I mean, he
did not lose the war. It's because he did not, in the previous chapter, he
wasn't
did not,
effective. He wasn't
did not listen. He did not listen to God's instruction and wiped out Amalek totally.
Yeah, but it's such a strong punishment. It sounds like, and then he keeps him for 40 years to be a king.
So this is also where we see,
understand it.
right? This is sometimes there is what we call zero tolerance. If you have a Nexus card, part of getting that Nexus card is a trust. So in other words, you're not abusing that card. And every time you cross the border, you have, God forbid, illegal aliens. And you know that because it's easy for you to smuggle things. So, you show them your card, your Nexus card, and you have, you're bringing in illegal people, whatever, or you're smuggling, whatever might be. The moment if they catch you on the tiniest thing that you lied to them on that card will be confiscated. You try getting that card back. You have to go to lawyers and this and the government and the states is almost like, it's almost you'll never ever see. It could be something really, really silly. I had a friend who brought who went to France, brought cheese with him, declared it. So it's not like he was hiding it, declared it. The guy took his card. And my friend pleaded with him. He said, why did I? He said, you're not allowed to bring cheese. He goes, I declared it. I goes, yeah, but you're not allowed to bring cheese. You can declare it 1,000,000 times. You're not allowed to bring cheese. And that was, anyway, he happened to be very lucky. And he said, take it. And it was very, very, apparently it was very expensive cheese. And this was not just, some particularly from France. Anyways, the idea is it's even if there's a certain element of the way that you expect them to behave, and as well in that position. So we see with Moshe as well. Moshe hits the rock. Remember that? Instead of talking to the rock, and what happens? Not allowed to go into the land of Israel. There's something that he wanted to see. That's what he was there to bring them into the land. boom, that was his punishment. So depending on what station you are, what is your position, every transgression or not following the rule is that much larger, is seen under a much, under a microscope. It's not just, oh, okay, he just did that. No, look what he did. Michael, I think you had a question. You're okay? I hope that it does. Yes.
Just a comment, a fleeting thought, father and the sons that he has. So I thought of Yaakov and Yosef and the brothers, and he's just the youngest one. No real parallel, but that's just what came to mind with Yishai and David and his other brothers.
That is that's a great a great analogy. Very good point. We always see that throughout the Torah, there is the younger, or the what do you call it? The Cinderella story. We always pick the underdog. There's all these, all the ones that we think are even, and Shaul was really the first one, although his personality at the beginning was very humble. He did not want anything. He told Shmuel, no, let me hide there. Ask God again, not me. And yet, but his physical appearance and ambiance or presence overtook kind of, and we see a failure. And here we see this the youngest of the kids, this and that, still, at a young age. It's almost we don't know what the potential is. Once you see a teenager later on in the years, 18, 19, 20, 21, you kind of know, especially in those days, where by a certain age, maybe even 15, you were already set in life in what was expected of you. You didn't go 3 years to university and then apprenticeship and then that, and started your life at 30. It was the moment that you're able to carry your weight around, you had a certain in the totem pole of the family, you knew what you were responsible for carrying your weight. And here's a little pisher that is apparently in the in tending the flock. Obviously, he was not invited, right? Did anybody notice that?
Right.
Yeah, of course.
I just wanna I'm gonna turn just 1 second.
Cinderella.
If any, I forgot this Shabbat. Peter gave me this wonderful book. It was I don't know if you,
Let's see.
The Secret Chord. I'm not holding it backwards, right? Is it coming out? Is it coming backwards? No.
No, it's
The
good.
secret what?
Secret
Chord.
Chord. It is masterfully written. Really the account of David, from David until Shlomo. And really it covers from this point right
Good
here.
chord. Yeah.
From this point until Shlomo takes over. It's called The Secret. I was supposed to give this to Peter this Shabbat, and Peter, when you get to my age, sometimes your memory goes a little bit. I apologize, I forgot.
You wanted to get a laugh from us, sure.
Yeah, but if
I have no idea what you're talking about.
okay. In any event, if this is Peter's book, if you can make contact with Peter if you want. Very, very, very interesting. Some how do you call it? It's based on biblical writings. It's also based on commentaries, based on professors studying that period and the Davidic dynasty and all that stuff that came along with it. It's not just a novel, made up, etc. It's based, most of it's based on studies and academia. So it's written like a novel. It's really an amazing piece of work. So if you want to reach out to Peter and
Is it at the Jewish Library?
It is at the Jewish Library, and I believe it's also at Bibliophile.
Okay, thank
it
you.
is, and you read it, it will give you it really is. It was and I thank Peter in front of everyone. It was filled in a lot of those gaps that we didn't, with our missing in Psukim. That's where the novel kind of fits it in and kind of builds David in a certain characteristic. perhaps not exactly the one that we read about in the text itself, but it gives you a more overview of everything and how different stories are all connected. It was masterfully written. I have to say that. If anybody wants to, highly recommend it. The Secret Chord. Okay.
It's somewhere before.
If you want after that, I'll be more than happy to share the title again and the author with everybody. Okay, so now Shaul is infused with this mental disorder, if you want to say it, of some sort. And those closest to him, his advisors, figure, you know what, maybe music therapy is something that that will work. When he starts getting this fit, let's play music for him. Okay. Vayomer Shaul el avadav, and Shaul hears him out. And he tells his servants, Re'una li ish meitivlan again. You know what? I like that idea. Go out and find for me someone who's a musician, vaviotem elai, and bring him to me. So he likes that idea. Obviously, he recognizes that he has this new type of condition or disposition, and he likes this idea. Vayan echad mehan ne'arim. One of the attendants spoke up, Vayomer, and he says, Hine ra'iti ben leishai beit halachmi. I have noticed, I've observed that there is a son, one of Jesse's son, Yodea nagen vegibor chayil. He knows how to play. He's a skilled musician, and he also happens to be somebody who is a warrior. He knows veish milchama. He's able to go to battle. He's strong. Unvon davar veish toar. He's sensible in speech. He's comfortable to. You're able to have a conversation with him. You're able to have a discourse with him. Veish toar, and he's a handsome in appearance. V'Adonai imo, and God is with him. Okay, in other words, he has this spirit. He's got an aura about him. Vaishlach Shaul malachim el Ishai. Thereupon Shaul sends messengers to Ishai. Vayomer shilcha elai et David bincha asher batzon. Please send to me your son David, who usually is the one who takes care of your flock. Vaikach Ishai chamor, and Ishai takes a donkey, lechem venod yain, and he also takes bread with him and skin and a container of wine. Ugdi izim echad, and a kid. Vaishlach biad David beno Shaul, and he also sends this up with David, his son, up to Shaul. So he's sending him a present. Why, by the way? Why is he sending the king that?
Out of
Do you think the king needs bread, needs wine, needs a kid for food? Any idea?
A sort of respect to him. And
Right, exactly. This is also, not only that, what is Shaul going to do?
he's going to get upset.
No, what is Shaul going to do with David?
Oh, he's supposed to be replaced by David.
No, he doesn't know, but I'm saying, what is Shaul? Who's right now going to take care of David? Once David leaves home, who's responsible for him?
The other son.
Shaul. So he wants to make sure that he treats. So he's also trying to get on his good side, basically. In other words, and it's not a free. He's bringing him, and it was commonplace also in those days for kings, and they receive presents, they receive honorariums, if I can say, from the people to show gratitude, and obviously he's going to be living in the palace, an upgrade from living with a flock. So he's doing it out of gesture also of thanks, okay, to Shaul. He's bringing him into court, right, into the royal court. That's an upgrade, okay. So he's showing hakarat hatov, recognizing good, okay. Vayavod David al Shaul. David comes to Shaul, vayamod lefanav, and he presents himself. Vayehaveu me'od. And Shaul takes a strong liking to him. Vahi lo noseh chilim. Not only was David playing music, but he was also every single, if you were on the upper echelon, you always used to have you used to have your munition kit, if you want to say it. Somebody who took, if you needed arrows, extra arrows, they would carry it for you. If you needed a spear, if your sword broke or something, he was literally he was your attendant on field. Those that were able to those were the wealthier. So we will also see later on that Yonatan has a kid with him all the time, and etc. And that is also an advantage. So I think I mentioned it beforehand. When I was in France and I went to the Napoleon Museum there, and they had all these armaments and beautiful things. But it wasn't given as, you were given a sword maybe or a spear to fight. That's it. When you were conscripted to war. The rest, if you couldn't afford any protection or any of that was up to you. If you were somebody of means, you were able to that. You had somebody make you armaments. You had somebody made you a much better, stronger sword, or make you they used to have chains, so that will block a sword from hitting your neck or something. All these protection was not given to you just because you joined the army. It was a bonus. It was what you were able to afford yourself. In this case, we have David who becomes his nosech chilim, somebody who bears his arms. He joins him on the field. In other words, and what does that show, by the way? Why is this an important thing?
It shows trust.
Excellent. It shows trust, because imagine Shaul turns around a war or on the field, and David is scared something's going to happen or takes off, right? And now Shaul no longer has the arrows that he thought he has, or has the armaments that he needs in order to continue to battle. So it shows actually his right-hand man, and if you want to call it that way.
It seems from what it says that David is out of the ordinary. He's not an ordinary person. He's got a lot of skills and like one of these all-around people.
This is where that's that spirit that God has rested on him, that he's successful in whatever he does.
Yeah, but he's well-rounded.
Right, he's well-rounded, but again, he has that. How do you say it? I don't know what it is, but about him. But whatever he does, he just succeeds in, and everything he touches turns into gold. And that is not his ability, so to speak. That is the God with him, making him succeed in whatever he does. And by the way, Ruth, that is exactly what, as you mentioned, that's exactly what Joseph was as well, right? Whatever he touched in jail, everybody sees favor in his eyes. Whatever he does, everybody likes him. Everybody is attracted to him. He's got this person, and that's David is very much like that as well. And we see that in Joseph.
The person close to him, like Shaul, then becomes so envious, and that's also what happens.
Don't ruin don't let the cat out of the bag. Exactly. We'll read all about that, in terms of that is also part of that whole this whole story. And we see it's amazing how it's intertwined. This is like a Tarantino movie. We started with going to anoint, and then we get back to Shaul now, looking for somebody who plays. Who is it? It's David, who was just anointed. So, but secretly, obviously, he does not know about that whole festive affair. But here we are. David right now is obviously in Shaul's favor. Okay. Pardon?
Can I just ask you a question? Because in the book, it's the way it's presented. David has all these qualities. It says that at the beginning, that he's brave and he's strong and he's smart and everything good. And then it says, and the Lord is with him.
Right.
Like the second.
It's it's the band, you know, and the Lord is with him. In other words, he's got all these things. The Lord is with him.
Yeah.
Okay, you can.
So-
That is it. It's all in one and the same. Vaishlach Shaul Elisha lemor. Shaul sends a message to Jesse saying, Yamod na David lefanai. Please let David remain in my service. Ki matzah chen beinai. For I'm pleased with him. He's found favor in my eyes. I like him very much. V'haya biyot ruach Elohim el Shaul. And whenever there was a demonic spirit within Shaul, v'lakach David et hakinor v'nigen be'ado. David takes the lyre and he plays it. V'ravach leShaul v'tovlo. And this would calm down and bring great relief to Shaul, and he felt good. Besara me'alav ruach ra'ah, and that evil spirit would be raised from him. So in other words, he not only was somebody who was trustworthy, somebody who was obviously very, and the king Shaul enjoyed his presence. He also enabled him to overcome that evil, that bad spirit, whatever. I believe it was some form of dementia, and his mind was not sharp, but he was able to calm him down and bring him to a much better place. So we see that David has, as Peter said, has earned a very special place in Shaul's hierarchy right now. Not only is he bearer arms, but he's also the one who makes him feel
I
good.
want to see the people.
Whenever he's psychologically not stable, David is able to bring him back to a normal state. Any questions?
Put it on here.
So by the way, who thought that, or who knew that we were going to be introduced to
Yeah, I
David
knew
this
that.
chapter?
Okay.
Anybody? So
Need
certainly,
David. We need
Pardon?
David. We need David because as we speak, where I am, there's a demonstration going on right now with police all over the place.
oh yeah, where on Sherbrooke on
Rain with howling winds. Yeah,
oh yeah.
What did you say?
I just said there's a Palestinian demonstration going on right now in a storm.
Oh yeah. Okay, let it rain harder. It's good.
At
I mean,
Westmount,
they say it's going to be lightning,
Square, Farley, at Westmount
lightning
Square.
coming.
Yeah, Westmount Square,
Yeah. Okay.
On- Wood Avenue.
But,
Yossi, could I ask you a quick question about I don't understand the Tov Lo.
V'tovlo, so veravach leShaul v'tovlo. He had revach. Revach is relief. V'tovlo, and he felt good. In other words, Shaul was relieved from that evil spirit that took him, and he made him feel good. That he
No,
was.
It's the juxtaposition of the two words. The Tov Lo. Lo is not.
No.
No.
Lo with a
Yeah.
vav. So let me a quick lesson in Hebrew.
Sorry.
No. All right. Two letters. We have the letter lamed
Yeah,
and we have the letter vav.
yeah.
That means to him.
Okay, sorry.
This
It's good to hear.
Yep. Yes,
lamed and aleph means no.
Uh.
Okay, so v'tov lo, and it was good to him.
Next
felt
year I'll be out of junior kindergarten and ready to go into real kindergarten.
By the way, you don't belittle your question, because there is a whole learning way mechanism of things that sound the same.
Yeah.
Low and low. There is that branch of learning, and that is part of. Do you remember all those little things when we see one word written one way, but we read it another way?
Yeah.
It's all part and parcel of the same thing. But in this case, v'tov lo, and it's good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him, and he felt in English, proper English, and he felt good. It was
Yep.
good for him. He had relief and he felt good. That's really what it means. Okay, but that's a very that's a very good question. It's not a it's absolutely great question. Okay, but and you'll see it. Lo is with an aleph and lo with a vav. Okay, excellent.
I won't forget.
Not okay, but that's a really nice, a really nice.
Yeah.
nice point.
Yossi,
Yes, Chaim.
in, I think, a few lines up, the tribute that's brought courtesy of Yishai to Saul is bread, wine, and a kid, yes?
Yes,
Which is the same that Shmuel told Saul to expect when he was meeting 3 men who he was going to ecstasy with.
interesting. That's okay. I didn't make that connection. That's beautiful. So if you remember what Shaul was instructed originally with Shmuel, excellent to bring. Thank you, Chaim. That is very insightful and an amazing connection. So there is that it seems that it's beyond just a gift. It's a spiritual or a very deep type of present. It's not just a little a nice gesture. There must be some. It's a deeper. There's a deeper thing to it. That's excellent point, Chaim. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No faniente.
Yeah, no, beautiful point. So from now on, God willing, we're going to learn of or we're going to see the demise of Shaul, his meltdown, and David's rise to being king. Was not easy. And again, I would highly suggest, if you can get your hands on worthwhile reading as we go through these chapters, it'll look very, very different to you. As you
What's
know,
the
story.
author?
Geraldine Brooks. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's his pen name, right? That's not his real name. And interestingly enough, in this book, by the way, I think, Peter, is this the reason why you read it? Because at the end, there's a mention of hallelujah for Leonard Cohen. Was that why you read it?
Yeah.
So
He was my Boy Scout master at the Shar Hashemayim.
So this is the
Believe it
end.
or
If
not.
you want to read the, I don't know if you can can you see the last 3 lines?
No, I read it.
So I'll read it to you. So he thanks, of course, afterwards as he's thanking everybody for whatever. And he says at the end, this is the last paragraph. In 2005, my 9-year-old son made the unusual decision to learn the harp, which started me reflecting on that other long ago boy harpist. And that is, of course, David. At his bar mitzvah 5 years later, he played an arrangement of Leonard Cohen's classic Hallelujah. So it is to Nathaniel, who's his grandson, so it is to Nathaniel that I owe both the inspiration for this book and the idea for its title. So this has, I guess, a sharp connection. Okay, I figured, Peter, you see, I'm a good PI. I can, and it's proof that I read the book. Okay.
Good.
Excellent, everyone.
Nice class.
I want to wish everyone a Shavua Tov, a great week. Let me just before. Hold on.
Thank you very much.